Okay, so today we are demonstrating another method of stretching out your hip flexors, so the joint between your leg and your torso. By stretching out your hip flexors, it helps to relieve tension in the groin area as well as your lower back and adds more mobility and fluidity to your movements. This pose is a yoga pose called the Pigeon pose, and it is done on the ground. If you would like an alternative version to stretch out your hip flexors, see the video where we use a stool to help demonstrate an alternative version of stretching out your hip flexors. So, to start with the yoga pigeon pose, you're going to get into downward dog with your heels down, and you basically look like a giant triangle. Then you take your first foot, bend it forwards, and you put the knee up by your hand, and then slide the other leg back. Some people will go down on their elbows and breathe. Once you get into this pose, which depending on your flexibility level, this could be enough for you. For me, for the longest time, it was certainly enough for me. As this becomes easy for you, you can progress further. So you can go on your elbows with your forearms and you work your way up into an upright position. This adds more stretch into your hip flexor. And again, breathe. And with your exhales, release into it. Focus on your muscles lengthening. Focus on relaxing into the pose. And when you've had a few deep breaths, move slowly. Again, we do not want that rubber band effect to hurt your muscles or your tendons. Does not feel good. And bring the toes of your back leg underneath of you. Lean forward on your hands and bring your other foot back and return to downward dog. This helps relieve tension from that intense stretch that you just did in pigeon pose. Now we do the other side. So bring the other foot forward. The knee is at your hand, and stretch your toes out and stretch your leg back. Again, get used to the pose. Put your elbows down on the ground. Deep breath in, exhale, and release into the pose. Feel your muscles strengthening, stretching, strengthening, all the goodness. And release into it. Take a few deep breaths. Again, if you want to challenge yourself further, you can come upright. Only do what your body is ready to do. Don't exceed it past what it's ready to stretch. If you stretch too much too quickly, you could injure yourself, so take it slow. Listen to your body. If it doesn't want to go into a pose, don't force it into a pose. If you want an even bigger challenge, I'll show you on this side so that you can see it fully. You can go into pigeon pose, stay upright, and this leg back here, bring it forward. I call this pose the Artemis Pose because I always think of somebody pulling an arrow. So, if you want a great challenge, try this. Definitely stretches out the lower back at the same time as your hip flexors. Again, that is more of the intense version of the pigeon pose, and I had to work up to it for quite a long time before I could even fold myself into that position. So, I hope you enjoy this video. Try a few hip flexor poses and see how you feel with your mobility and your tension afterwards, and enjoy.